Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Cashflow Digital, sponsored by Niche Website Builders. The link is below. We've actually had to make sure that Brad goes down to his normal height and take his.
He took the phone books off the chair.
Yeah, I moved the stool. Have you seen the picture with the football guy getting interviewed by the chick that's really tall, but he's standing up on like a bucket or like books or something? Yeah, it's hilarious.
That is.
I think it may be. It's either football or baseball. I can't remember, but yeah, it might be baseball. It's funny. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sitting on the booster seat today, so this is normal height.
You have that one for the toilet to step up, right?
Yeah, it's called a squatty potty, and I've told you that. You know that.
Dude, that thing. Remember when that commercial came out, bro, for the squatty potty?
It's got unicorns and shit.
Oh, what's going on? To rave, dude.
I haven't even looked at comments. Anyone watching this?
Freak, man.
2 people are watching so far.
Oh, good.
Maeve, that rhymes with Dave, is here.
Maeve and Dave.
Is that Maeve in the picture?
Yeah.
Dude,
in fact,
this camera is having issues.
I should probably look
at see here.
Yeah, she's your area, right?
Well, I think she was. I think she stays down south now in England. She ate and went down to the dark side. If I'm correct, Maeve.
She lived in Ireland.
She was.
I think Ted is stealing all of our viewers.
He always does.
Yeah,
Ted.
He started hosting SEO Fight Club at the same time, and then started posting it.
Announcing it.
Yeah, it's funny.
So I got it back to front. Maeve is an English girl that's moved to Ireland. So the other way around. At least you've escaped, Maeve. From
the Brummie.
The Brummie. I like the Irish accent thing. But yeah, I'm not sure about that Brummie accent. It's a bit rough.
I thought she had an Irish accent. Does she not?
It sounds like one to me.
I thought so too.
Sounds like one.
Oh, she's not English.
She's Irish.
I thought, I was like, they didn't sound. I mean,
I was gonna say.
There's your plan. That's my body.
I find it very unfortunate that you Scots did the picks so dirty.
What do you mean the picks?
The Pictish people.
What do you mean we've done them so dirty?
You killed them all.
Yeah, for trying to invade their country.
Is that from Braveheart or something?
Yeah. No, there's old historic shit.
It's very interesting though, actually. But this is not a history show.
Yeah. Let's not start
talking. How does that tie into SEO?
Paul Revere. Spam is the word of the day.
Taking the SERPs from people.
Yeah. What have you noticed? Have you
breath from the picks?
You've been working on other shit. Have you had anyone reach out to you about the spam updates and shit, Mike?
Yeah.
Have you seen anything?
Links have done really well.
Yeah.
Links are the shit.
That's what I was saying in the other group. The sites that I grabbed that don't have a ton of links and just throw up mass page, they've a number of them have dropped off. The ones I've built up over time and or I've purchased through someone like Otis or Niche Website Builders. I've got more spam calls coming in. Not spam, they're not spamming.
But you got more calls coming in from that.
Yeah, from campaigns I forgot about. I was like,
yeah,
we were doing an opiate campaign on that fucking site. And I was like, I guess I did.
I saw like a fucking 11,000% increase, like on some sections of a few sites that just have historical profiles, man. And what you'll see is in the historical profile, like these sites will pop back up into SERPs. Like they're starting to push up in the ranking. Like the link profile, the sites in the backlink profile will start to push up. And I think one of the things other people do forget is that when there's updates, they do rescore markets. And so it's time to look at your page again and see if you need to change anything with your freaking page entity or your optimization.
Yeah.
A lot of like position 3 down to 11 is what I'm seeing with people and like different. That's when I was in pharma today, actually. I haven't looked at the site itself, but I do know that one of the things was that the supports are off a little bit. So to remember, like if there's a rescore in the market and you have done a cluster, a group of pages, and then those pages are now weaker for every term that they're a part of, you might need to tweak that whole cluster and every page there just a little bit rather than just the target page. Because if you have like a 10% offness score on one page, then a 10% on another, and a 10% on another, it changes the document's quality, because it's not just the page, it's the whole document, the whole website. So,
and when you say links, are you seeing that from a domain perspective as a whole? Or are you seeing it on an individual page basis, or both? Or it depends?
Yeah, individual, both. I think it's the same. It's more of the same shit, to be honest. They're tweaking it, but they started to deliver homepage results as when they're rewriting titles as just the brand, just the title of the site name. And so
go out and go get cheapcarinsurance.net.
That's exactly right. There you go. But if you want the CTR, I think that's a great idea, dude. Yeah. But when they rewrite a lot of title in regular SERPs, right? They rewrite that. And if they're starting to deliver a generic title for like the broader terms for that site that they're ranking for, which that tends to be a lot of the time, that homepage is a broader section. It's definitely an indicator to look at, okay, they want specificity, right? So they're not rewriting a whole bunch of shit into that title on that homepage to specify there. So when we see them in their language always saying, be specific, don't be too broad, be specific, don't be too broad. And then they rewrite titles to be specific to that query that you're targeting, that EMQ. And then they do it broadly on the homepage. I think people need to focus on the fact that, okay, I need to really look at how they're doing that and why are they doing that? And so I think there's some focus for people that lost some positioning to kind of look and go back and reevaluate how they're optimizing their page. Because really, I think you should be targeting one keyword on a page, like the top level to that page, basically, and optimizing for that specifically. And then you'll rank for everything underneath it, you know? So I don't know. It's an interesting one. And I think it'll continue to be interesting.
Yeah, I've seen indexing on lower quality pages or lower quality build outs become an issue again. I feel like that they were, like they always do, were collecting data for the past 4 to 6 months and making it easier. Like SERP Shaker builds are working like crazy on any domain the past 4 to 6 months. I think they got their what they needed, and then they tightened down a little bit.
But what you'll see too on the SERP Shaker builds is that usually, like even like if I look at your sites, and we know this, and I look at my sites, anyone's sites that are built like automatically, if you don't go back in and clean up your menu, if you don't go back in and do certain things, your site is a little loose compared to what it could be.
It's way anytime I start running SERP Shaker on a site and I've got it in like the Ahrefs tracker or whatever, the score immediately goes down on Ahrefs as a whole, just because you've got 5,000 pages with no internal links. I'm like, yeah, well.
You see like the menus come in with the categories, and then you see the starting to rank a certain way based on its history and profile and on page. If you want, you can go back in and tighten up that site, eliminate some things and optimize some other things, but that's not the point of them. But when you start to see that, it becomes easy to understand, okay, like SERP Shaker sites tend to get broad topically, and they keep saying get specific. So
comparing it between a SERP Shaker build that I have Spintax in, and every page is a little different, in addition to, of course, the geo, versus an HTML build out where I just have the geo. The SERP Shakers are still doing like quite a bit better.
Ones where you're spinning the content specifically.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, and so the way you build your content too, the way the blacklists are, what I'm seeing with people that are using, like in high level queries, they're using the same methodology of just replacing the geo. they're dropping off to that like 11 position because they've got the same numbers. Like, think about it. If we're talking about averages of like a number in one location versus the other side of the freaking country, and you're talking about that same average, those are not the same numbers.
You're going to be talking about different things entirely.
Exactly.
And different brand names. Like we were looking at the Greensboro site and it was pulling in that brand name. You're going to have different brand names that pull for every single location.
Yeah.
So that's where the go back and optimize it.
And that's why you'll see pages too. Like one site will do better in one location and do worse in another location. It can be that. It can be that you're missing something in that optimization of that page and that like query entity or page entity or whatever. It's about like, if you want to get fully automated and really go hard on it, you're pulling in data and just doing it by a page basis rather than a site-wide basis. But it's a trade-off, right?
I can make much larger strides. I've tried going in and doing them page by page before. Not the content plus linking like we do for clients, but going in and doing the geos page by page, even within the past year. I do that compared to like a SERPshaker campaign, and SERPshaker blows.
No, you got to use an API or something for that. You need to pull the data to do. It's not worth the hand time, I don't think. You need to automate it as much as possible or not worry about it and spam. I mean, realistically, there's a trade-off on both sides, and I'm not,
like you said, like if your shit's dropping off, you probably don't have enough authority right now. Like if I look at the you mentioned pharma, we know that we're both in the substance abuse realm. Go and type in drug rehab, like wherever you are, and see what comes up. Those are all fucking spam sites. Theoretically, they're the same level of spam that my SERPshaker sites are. They've just got more authoritative sites. They've got more going on in the background. They've got way more links. They've got DR70s plus and shit like that. Like the top 10 drug rehabs in North Carolina is what's going to pop up. Like top 8 drug rehab centers in North Carolina. It's going to be like a page of those, and those are all just they didn't have anyone going in and individually building those pages. Those are all mass paged to an extent. So they're all directories that pull in.
Did you notice that those queries, the top level queries in that market, seem to be losing impressions? Have you looked?
I haven't looked. No.
We'll talk about this off air, but it's interesting. Like the actual search volume seems to have been shifted to other things, and it seems like they're doing something in the market. But it's interesting. I'm like down 60% with actually ranking. It's very interesting actually.
In rehab?
Yeah. On the drug rehab query itself, right? And
I rarely retarget just drug rehab because as much as I
but what's interesting is it's like they're I don't know. Well, it's theory. I'm not going to talk about it here. It'll just it's a long conversation anyway.
It's about maturation.
Maturation, baby. All right. What's the first part of that question? What is your guys' opinion regarding CTR manipulation? We have keywords in the top 10, 4 to 10 that just don't want to bump up to top 3 for the last 9 months. A lot of traffic just waiting for us.
Yeah. I would say I feel like the biggest downfall with CTR is you start it, and if you stop it, you're just going to go back to where you were. I would normally prefer to take a look at the cluster and take a look at like the content you have. Are you missing something there? Are you missing something on the on page? Are you missing something on the surrounding it, like on the site somewhere? Should you have more information on the site pointing back to that specific piece of content? And then third, I don't want to tell you to hammer your site with links, but does do your referring domains match up with at least the competition that you're seeing? So that's what I look at first before CTR.
I would say I don't like direct CTR manipulation with a bot directly. I like things around all of that.
It's like methadone. You got to keep using it and going back to it every day. And then your CTR bot stops working. And you got to kick it back on. Same thing with Google My Business. I mean, you can slam it to the top with that. But once you stop doing it, if you don't do all the other shit, then it's normally going to fall back once you stop the CTR.
Yeah,
I would go ahead, Craig. What's up?
I was going to say, too many people, like CTR is the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah.
When it comes to it, I think you try and leverage everything else you can. If there are gaps, and too many people think just fucking go for.
I think it's an easy button a lot of times.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what Henrik is doing, but yeah, a lot of people do.
I would definitely analyze the page itself, especially if there's been changes recently. If you're not tracking your SERP, track your SERP, scrape the actual SERP so you see what's going on and who's coming in and out, and make decisions on your page based on what you're seeing on the top pages for that query. Look at the top 3 and try to see what they're talking about that everyone else is not talking about, and then combine that and try to beat them out and create something new in the market that is actually just rearranging the market a little bit so that you look more like an expert.
Like we do when we make up SEO terms.
Exactly, dude. I'm not even kidding, bro. The funny thing is that that's
page post edits.
Yeah. When you push up, you copy them to get to page 1 and you need to go above them. It's time to go and do something new. And that's kind of one of the ways that you can do that. But yeah, I'd make sure that page is spot on still, or is at all if you've never been up there.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. It's easy enough to fucking go through something with cognitive. It takes 20 minutes, especially if it's a bigger term where that you're losing money not doing it. It makes sense to do it.
For me, it's usually look at the page, optimize it, then look at the supports, optimize it, build them if I need to, and then go off page. And then when you're done with all of that, it might be trying to push a little more, but then it comes into then now let's think of what else we can do here. So if that's not done, I would say get that all done. Make sure that you have the same supports that the top has.
Or you don't deserve to be in the top 3. This is
Yeah,
the simple answer.
The truth. I mean, they've done a good job, I think, of requiring people to do what they want to do, which is provide good information to their users. That's what they need to do. They need to reward that, and they have been rewarding that. And so our job is to do that and then do it better.
So hopefully that helps you, Heinrich. But
Big report today after the bell, Mike. You think it'll be good or bad?
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
It was good last time, or it wasn't.
I think it'll be good personally, but
it wasn't as bad as everyone thought. But I feel like everyone reporting right now, it's not as bad as they thought.
I was looking at my whole portfolio for the year, and I'm down like 25%.
Oh yeah, you can't look at it. You gotta. That's why you gotta generate cash flow and reduce your cost basis.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
No, it just is what it is, dude.
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, they are. The way I do them, they are for sure, David.
If you do spun content properly, it works extremely well. It's a very huge time saver.
I'm seeing even AI content doing surfer AI
doing
content.
Very, very well.
Yeah.
AI content can go ahead, Craig. I'm sorry.
When you say surfer AI content, you mean AI content that's then been surfer optimized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what my guys trained on. The only reason I have an account is because my web designer said they had a guy that could do these optimized pages. I was like, all right, send it over. So we post them and they rank. So it's but he has to generate it via AI.
The big problem I see with people in AI content, the ones that are getting hit, I can look at the graphs and the dates, and you'll see handwritten content and AI content hit the exact same way at the exact same time. And the commonality is almost always that the start of the campaign, the data used is too broad. It's not tight enough. It's not, it's topically, like general market topically relevant, but it is not relevant to the query and the intent of that query. And so it gets really broad. So like you might have someone talking like the apple pie shit. You might have someone talking about an orchard on a site that's trying to sell apple pies. There's not a need for that most of the time, unless there's a need. Like if you're doing a B2B campaign, where you're an orchard trying to sell apples for apple pie, then you talk about a fucking orchard. If you're an e-commerce site trying to sell apples for apple pie, and you're talking about an orchard that's somewhere in a way that's not on like, hey, we have an orchard, and you're writing an article and publishing about orchards or some shit on an apple pie site, you are way too broad, and that's not going to perform well.
Yeah. But no, I was curious in case Surfer had some AI that I wasn't fucking.
No, it connects to Jarvis or whatever.
Yeah. So. Jarvis is still the only AI that I'm currently using. Tried all the other ones, but
you can't. Yeah, the newest transformer for GPT-3, that's the one you want to use. Like if you play around in there, like directly in that, and you look at the different, just even with like Neo and some of the other shit that's newer, that's the best one for sure.
Everyone fucking hates it though. Seeing you hear people talking about it, they just slam Jarvis. But I've always went back to it. But yeah, I just.
Who's the guy, the big dude? Not big as in physical, but been around forever. Ryan Dees or whatever. What's he run? I think it was him that I heard say, he's like, I hate to admit it, but we've split tested Jarvis. He's doing paid ads, of course. We split test. He does digital marketer. Jarvis versus the ones that I wrote, and Jarvis fucking beat it out. So it's like for click-through rate and conversion and everything, Jarvis beat him, who's been doing it for decades. So
yeah, it does a good job, man. Like when you play with it and you give it like some parameters and some information, like
yeah, I haven't taken the time to fuck around with it too much, but
and I'm not talking Jarvis itself. I'm actually talking like behind the actual GPT-3, but because that's just like template and shit. But when you start giving it parameters, it does a pretty good job of making decisions. You still have to understand how it works. And I think it's important for people to understand how it works, because that's what Google is freaking doing, dude. They are literally making decisions based on the same kind of shit and learning information. And if you don't understand the way they're doing that, I think you're at a disadvantage. You get too, like I said, it goes back to just too broad. You just want to remain tight with your page groups, and your page is where you want to be, so that you match.
Yeah.
I thought about this question the other day, and this is like theoretical, Mike.
Yeah.
Remember when RankBrain first came out as the AI, and we said essentially RankBrain has the understanding of a 3-year-old, correct?
Yeah.
It's been what, 5-6 years since it came out?
It's like 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. Yeah.
How old do you think it is now? Do you think it's aged
under 10?
Under 10?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it aged in cat years or
it's exponential. No, it's like, I think when they get to some of the stuff they're working on now, like that's when it's going to be extremely, like when people will drop off again quite a bit, when they're not delivering more than a couple people per query and shit. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
I'm just going to start cold emailing people. I'll just spam that way. They won't let me.
That shit cannot fucking work anymore.
Cold email?
You think that shit still works?
I'm going to try it. I'll let you know.
No. Honestly, my inbox and
dude, I don't even go into email unless someone tells me to.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you know.
It's get someone to clean that shit up for you. I actually know a few guys genuinely that are in this industry that have someone clean their inbox up before they start.
I know some too. Yeah.
Just because of that, so you've no chance with these guys anyway. So yeah, but give it a try, Brad. Sometimes shit just works.
Yeah. Have you talked to Try in a while?
Me?
I mean, he was running an entire agency off of cold email. Cold email and cheap ass SEO.
Sir will rank you for 4 months and then you will tank.
Yeah.
So when you know
you
you
would have been way better off just fucking not doing anything and taking their money. But
I think so. The process of like, hey, I know we're going to be a client for 4 months and then they can go somewhere else. I mean, it is business, dude. I mean, it's harsh.
Yeah. Remember, he sent us a picture of his chargebacks one time. It was like deck of cards.
Chargebacks, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck that for a business model, man. That's too much.
Yeah. Dude.
Well, if you automate it.
Yeah, that's how it was. That dude, we spam, but he fucking spams.
I mean, you definitely don't want to be processing Amex if you're doing that shit.
No. I don't know how he got away with it, to be honest. But
It's got to be a good merchant.
yeah,
Probably
it's got to be an overseas merchant. Speaking of overseas, you know the guy that bought the site, and then the person that used to own the site is pissed off.
Yeah.
That whole story in rehab. They got Namecheap to fucking take his site down. They got all the way to Namecheap.
That's funny.
Because they said this business is not a real business, and they're saying they're a real business, and they're being fraudulent and blah blah blah. So they went so far as to get Namecheap to fucking take the site down, take the domain down, until he sends them to match the domain, sends them like business registration, like all that shit. Like you're like getting a map unsuspended or something. He's like, it's insane how easy it is to fuck with someone's business if you really want to.
Yeah,
it's like crazy. So he moved all of that shit overseas. But
you are hosting it. Yeah, I told him
he did. He's been hosting it because the host is usually your weak point.
Where was he hosting it?
I don't. I think he went with Costa now, but Costa won't.
He should. You get it on that digital.
But he got around the hosting. The host he'll get it back up, and then they'll find.
There was the registrar.
Yeah, it was the register. It was Namecheap. He bought it as a premium domain through Namecheap.
Did he transfer it?
Yeah, he got it out.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they let him, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's his domain. They can't. It's just that's just so. That's basically at that point. It makes me want to go expose some of their shit. To be honest, dude.
Yeah,
it
was insane. So I don't know. It's just like a soap opera. He'll be telling me I'll be eating popcorn.
It's funny, dude. Dude, you see some of their like fake profiles too. And it's like Dr. Weed.
They're good fake profiles, though.
Dr. Weed.
Yeah.
What are you doing there with entities, bro?
Insanity. But guys, put your questions in. It's really quiet here today.
I have something we're talking about.
Nice
so they ask, can link building give you or your client a bad reputation?
Probably.
Can it? Are you sure?
Yes.
Why?
It depends on what do you mean a bad reputation? So link building, so someone just even getting, some old Chinese porn links and stuff like that.
Like theory wise, like can link building ruin your agency? Can link building ruin your client's reputation online?
If done properly, then no.
Right. So how could they?
Even if you're building shitty leaks, they're gonna have to. Someone's gonna have to dig to fucking hurt the reputation. Like I've dealt with clients before, and you send them. They're like, we want to see the links. I'm like, we really don't do that. Show you the link. We want to see them. All right, here you go. These are terrible links, so you shouldn't put our business name on those links and shit like that. So they'll think that it's going to give them a bad reputation. It doesn't fucking matter. The problem is with like financial institutions, so say like a financial advisor, a bank, anything like that, they scrape the internet to make sure no one is using their brand name, so you can't even be branded Anchor or anything like that because they could get in trouble. Will they? More than likely from our SEO backlinks? No. Could they? I guess theoretically. So from a legal standpoint, they just nip it in the butt.
Dirk's got a question, then we'll come back. I had a thought on that. Last one. PBN networks, would you be against buying an established PBN or build it yourself from the ground up?
It would have to be in a niche that I'm in, and it'd essentially be buying a network of site, like a mini network.
You're buying a business.
Yeah.
You need to audit the shit out of it.
Yeah. But am I going to buy someone's random PBNs? No.
Absolutely no chance.
Yeah. You're way better off purchasing something from NWB or Otis or someone like that and doing it one at a time over time and making all those money sites and building them up.
If you're buying a business that is supported by a PBN, then you need to be auditing that PBN, and that needs to be part of the purchase. And that needs to be done carefully, and you need to make sure that that thing is going to stay there and it is part of that purchase. Make sure it is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and at that point, I think it's getting out of most people's budget at that point. When you look at it like that, and that's what you're looking for, you're going to be paying.
Well, yeah, you're talking. I'm talking.
figures.
You're buying a freaking business, you know.
Yeah.
Like I would say, if you're buying an agency and that agency has a PBN that it uses for its clientele, that should be something you're paying for, and that is being sold at the same time.
Or something off of like Empire Flippers. I see that a lot. Like such and such, like so many dollars a month recurring revenue business, but then it's a network of sites. So you're essentially buying their mini network, their PBN, whatever you want to call it, but you're buying the entire network because they can't be in the niche for however many years.
I've been auditing networks lately, and it's actually not that. If you kind of automate a lot of it, it's not difficult to audit the network. You just need to look at a few things, like if you scan really quickly the whole network, like I think you just did one of like 3,500 sites in it or whatever. You can quickly see if they've been doing it properly or not. Just by looking at certain errors, looking at the.
I can guarantee I'm not doing it properly. But.
And then looking at the titles, the header matches and the title matches for the sites, you can see if it's on topic or if it's just generic, and it's pretty easy to weed out nonsense quickly. But so, yeah, I wouldn't go looking.
Thoughts on buying niche sites heavily discounted because
send them this way.
Yeah, send them to me.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Great business model, David. Or not even business model, just great to take advantage of such a situation. So yeah, that's, as I say, I keep saying, you feel like a vulture. Get in there, but if you can spot what the problem was with that, then I'd buy it up. And
do it different. I mean, offer them to stay on and say, hey, look, I want to take a percentage of the business, and from here this point forward,
above what you're currently bringing in, not above the previous high, but above what you're bringing in now.
Revenue, and not like projected, like the current revenue, because they're hurting.
Yeah, because we had a potential lice client come on. They were hurting because of COVID. Because most of their online sales were minute, and they were limping along strictly because of their brick and mortar. COVID comes, wipes out their brick and mortar. They're closing that, and they were like needing our help, and they wanted to make it overcomplicated. So we just offered to buy the whole thing. They're like, well, we would take that in a heartbeat. That had a ton of content that was unoptimized, but written by an industry expert in that niche. I'll take that all day.
Yeah. A lot of times there's certain types of business, I feel like, that if you don't get that person with the passion on it, you're screwed anyways. Which are things I would avoid if I wasn't going to keep someone there.
Duck wants to know more about the key things you look when you're auditing and reviewing a PBN, Mike. What are the things that you see sticking out?
Your quick thing is going to be the way it's hosted, how you can see what, and just kind of do a crime first scan. The title and header matches for like the homepage especially. And then looking for the common errors that you would find with hosting and certs and things. Like if you see a lot of issues with certification and stuff, like it's just kind of looking at it like from a tech and topical analysis on a site-by-site basis. And then if it passes those checks, that's when I'd start worrying about some of the other stuff in the past, like just any manuals that have been on some of the sites and cleaned up or whatnot. But yeah, just the key is making sure that there's not anything glaring at you. Like if you go to a homepage and you see a whole bunch of, header 2 or header 3 information and they're all over the place, you're pretty certain that they're super, super generic. And that's kind of an indicator of like kind of what you get for the marketplace for like niche edits and PBN posts from a link marketplace, right? And that's not what you want a network for. You want a network for something that's going to make you money and rank what you're doing quickly. So it's probably a conversation. It's probably something we should do a freaking webinar on at some point, Brad.
Nah, I don't feel like it.
I don't either.
No, not gonna do it. Fuck it.
Why not?
Mm.
Don't be miserable, Brad.
I will be if I have to sit and listen to Mike talk about that for an hour.
Yeah, I suppose I get it. Rahul, can you want to learn more about niche site business? Can you share something to learn about it? The only thing I can share is I've got niche website builders on every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Stop promoting other shows, Craig.
Well, do you want to talk about niche websites?
Yeah, good point. Promote away.
It's just generally like make sure if you're going to do it alone, you need to know HTML, have an interest,
Or at least have a guy that can do it for you.
have a way to monitor. I wouldn't do it. I think it sucks to go do it and not be able to do it yourself. That's just my input.
That's true. You need a core of it.
Yeah.
Take an HTML course.
I would.
Not on Udemy because I can't get through.
And a way to monitor. Like, so I would worry first about interest in monetization.
Just bear in mind seasonal stuff, low cost products, all that shit. If you're going to go into a niche, get something that actually fucking makes you money.
Evergreen. Sell calls. That's my favorite fucking way. I know you don't do it as much, but yeah. That's my favorite way.
The seasonality aspect's really important because as historical data gets more and more important, like that we're seeing with these updates, like knowing that there's certain events in that market can kickstart your ranking and every year make you rank more, or every month make you rank more because of the different search events and the volume changes in the fucking queries. And so when you say the seasonality, like I think, market research is extremely important. And that's, to me, I have to be interested in shit to really dig in. So I think that's what I'm saying when I say interest, because if you don't know that, hey, every month there's a sale on this one thing on this one place, then you can't take advantage of it,
Payday kicks up like crazy in December, sadly, because people need the money. But yeah.
And that should be pre-planned for, because every year that they have history on you, they're going to give you more of that traffic, dude, when that event happens.
Well, it's like on Amazon, when you want to be fucking loaded up and have everything in that you own into inventory, like every dime you have. Now, don't wait. Yeah. It's the Medicare, Medicaid, which I've looked into, but there's not a lot of great offers from what I can tell.
No, the guys that I know have done it well. They've been private.
Yeah, the Medicare, Medicaid, like you want to be ranking right fucking now, get through, the end of the year and then fuck off,
Yeah, you have to be there at the right time and get the data for the right shit. But also the trends, the projected trends that are there, like you need to be on point. If you're missing the news for that and you don't know the market, your page is going to be off optimization when you get there.
It's that, and then you're doing a 2022, and then a 2023, and then a 2024. You've got to at least alter the pages that you have and turn everything from 2021 to 2022 and shit like that, because everyone's going to be searching for that shit.
On that note, it was interesting when YouTube, I forget what year it was like in the last couple of years, when they changed the fact that a title change to the video would let it retain its history and stuff. Those year things are extremely important to think about because it was tied into search as well. It's tied in at the same point, like everything's tied into that system that they're building.
If you're changing that on a URL, or if you're changing it, like say you've got a page that's like best SEO tips of 2021 and you want to do 2022, or you're getting ready to revamp it and do 2023. Would you change the URL and throw on the old one, or would you leave it 2021?
I wouldn't put the 20. I probably wouldn't have the year in the page and in the URL.
In the URL. Yeah.
I mean, I would have in the past, but now if I was doing it, I would not, because specifically, that's part of. Sometimes I wouldn't. I mean, maybe sometimes I would. There are certain things where the year is going to be important. And if the year is important to that every year and it doesn't change and it's always a 1998 release date for a movie, then it's always a 1998 release date for a movie. Yeah. But if it's like Medicare, getting Medicare that year or whatever, signing up for insurance, that's not a year specific kind of situation. And that would be more for like, if something happened
It's rolling.
like in 98, then you would have a page for 98 and what happened to Medicare. And that would be a support for the current Medicare page, right? If that makes sense. So probably not when it comes to money pages, depending on what that is for. Supports might have them, yeah.
Here's how I build out my network. I was just getting started though. I would go out and grab expired domains. Danger zone. I'd go out and buy expired domains. Start with either 5 or 10, whatever you want to do. Rebuild as much as you can from the original. So I'm going to go out and try and find defunct, if I'm in substance abuse, defunct rehab centers, defunct whatever. Grab that content, throw it up, put some lipstick on it, make it look halfway decent. Get all.
Is it a pig?
Yeah, it's gonna be because I'm gonna fuck it. But make it look halfway decent. Get the core website content up. It already has some links going in it. Hopefully, it has some social. It's got like that basic links. Then once I have 5 to 10 set up, I'm gonna go sign up for the plugin. NFG, what is that? NFGsecret.com. And I'm going to install that on every single one. I'm going to have 5 keywords because I can do the free version of the plugin on all of those. So I'm going to have 5 specific keywords for the pages that I want built out with the plugin. Those are all going to get links. I'm going to then go in and add content to those pages that's, spun. You can go out and pay someone if you want, if you've got the budget, whatever. Use Quillbot, flesh out those pages, then go in on each one of those. So you're getting a massive amount of links. More than likely, it's all going to be interconnected. So you're swap and spit between all of your networks. So make sure they're on. Yeah, exactly. Make sure they're on separate domains. And then I'm going to go in, and for each one of those 5 pillars on each one of the sites, I'm going to do a SERP Shaker campaign. I'm not going to blow it out completely, maybe like 1,000 pages each. So each one of these is going to have 5,000 plus pages on it. They're going to start to index. Then you can throw each one of them into Search Console and baby them and try and get that indexation up as much as you can. That fucking network is going to make money.
Yeah.
That's it. Let it run, recoup your money, and then build another 5 to 10 sites in the same niche. So
then that makes me think about Raul, or I'm not sure how you say that. Raul.
Raul is how I would think. Yeah.
But that's probably Spanish. But so that makes me think maybe the focus is too tight on a single page, potentially. But what are your thoughts there, then, Brad?
I think it might still be too fresh too, because how often do you see it in GSC where you're getting all these impressions and not that many clicks?
But you have to get those impressions first to be able to build the history.
I would say it's a time thing at that point.
Good question for you, Mike.
My buoyancy is good, baby.
I just told everyone how to build how to have an extremely buoyant network. So buoyant spam network.
And actually, those restorations, you can sell those posts on those sites, like for link posts and guest posts for a couple $100 too. Easy.
Yeah. Especially if they're niche specific. Yeah. Decide what niche you want to be in.
Oh man, you guys crack me up.
It's funny though, like some of when you do a guest post properly, like there is a methodology to make guest posts kick ass, right? There is a way to do it that murders. And if you are paying attention to the market that you're in and you're watching the site's ranking for supporting queries to what you're trying to rank for, and you are posting on those sites when they are starting to move for that cluster and that group of terms, then you can tie into the site's ranking to enhance your website. So when you have 10 sites like Brad's talking about that are market specific, that are going to be ranking, that are going to be pulling in calls, those posts, if if somebody knows what they're doing, can leverage that for some serious rank and some serious revenue. And so those posts are actually worth quite a bit when done properly. And we're seeing people pay upwards of $400 on niche specific websites to get into those like internal clusters. And that's the difference though. It's not going out and buying a shit post on a shit site that's just one single fucking post that disappears over time. You're actually tying into a ranking group of pages when you do it properly.
I mean, our network sites, we've shown them on NFG webinars before. They look like like you throw them in Majestic, and that link graph thing, looks like a fucking tennis ball. So you don't want to link from a site like that, or you want one from just like some random.
Yeah, they really do. Like, and I don't tell people to go build links based on traffic and things like this. There are certain things to look at when you're building links, but if you can get posts on like market specific pages for moving sites, then you want to tie into it if you can.
What would you pay more if the guest post service or whomever, like you're coming to me and I give you, I tell you it's either $200 for a post or a page, whatever, or would you pay $500 for the same post, but I put you somewhere either in a sidebar or the primary nav or the footer? Would you pay?
I repeat that. I was looking at a spider and thinking about something else. Sorry, dude. That's three things going on, dude. I was thinking about a guest post I did recently. There's a spider coming down the wall, and one other thing, dude. So the sidebar, dude. That's an ADHD moment, bro. That's my line.
Okay, so you come to me and you're like, "How much for a link on this site?" I'm like, $200 for a page or a post pointing back to yours, and it's built in a network that I just described. And you're like, okay, sounds good. And then I say, but wait, there's more. You could pay $500, and it's going to be the exact same thing, except I'm going to grab that page and I'm going to either put it in the main nav, footer, or sidebar. Would you pay up for?
If the site's ranking, I would take the fucking sidebar in a second. If the site's ranking for queries that I want, I would take the sidebar for sure.
And the sidebar goes to the internal page on my site,
absolutely,
which then links out to you.
Yeah, and so I have the one I was thinking about. It's a guest post that I pushed into one of the into the network site, and that guest post ranks for a top 5 CPC query.
Yeah.
Because of what we're talking about right now.
It's because you built it like it was your money site.
Yeah, and so that post itself is making money, dude. And so when you think about it that way, if Google is rewarding history, rewarding optimization, you need supporting content to make a full like cluster of pages, then you should be building your links when you can along the same methodology.
It's that is a solid way to either one, make money from a network, or two, actually pay for your network. Say, I'm going to sell 4 links. I'm going to charge $300 a pop. I'm going to make $1,200. That pays for this site and the entire fucking network. I can do that 5 to 10 times, and you got 10 grand, and you just got paid to build yourself a fucking network.
Some of the freaking homepage links that are selling in the markets that. Dude,
I never sell homepage links, but yeah, I can imagine it'd be fucking insane.
They're insane. And
how much they charge me,
dude,
for a DR 30 something?
I don't even know the DRs. Like we're talking like $800 to $1,000 per month for a homepage link on a lot of this stuff. But it's really interesting because they really have built a little market, a cottage industry where if you are able to place like that's where the only time where I see like white hat link building that I respect is usually tied specifically into that kind of thing, and they're very smart about it. You can tell when someone knows what they're doing by the way that they are using their guest post to tie into the site that they posted it on, rather than just link to themselves. They understand how it works because they leverage it. They create cross flow in the website rather than just a post going out. they actually tie into the authority of the site. And you can have shit like Forbes and throw fucking articles on Forbes all day long, right? And not give a shit about it. It's not worth the money a lot of the time, unless you know what you're doing. Like some of the accounts we have on Forbes that we've had for years, like those are fucking beneficial if you pay attention to what's going on with Forbes and how the site's moving and fluctuating, and use it. But that's a marketing campaign rather than just a link building campaign.
Well, then it comes down to tiering too.
Yeah.
To Forbes, the specific Forbes internal page.
Yeah, exactly. That's like social media sites. Like if you look at like Etsy, what are your thoughts on using CTR manipulation to help with local client site improving rankings?
Hit the rewind button, blackjack.
So I like what Blackjack said at the end.
Yeah, you're getting.
I think that way too, dude.
But it's not helping, in my opinion. It's not typically helping the overall conversion of the site. Which,
if the
at some point, that's not my fucking problem if they can't convert their stuff. But
if you're converting and they're making the money they need to be making, but your KPI is like view and traffic based, then I think there is nothing wrong with inflating the KPI for that client so they don't make a stupid decision, basically. You don't want someone making a stupid decision based on a KPI when they are making money off of what you're doing. So enhance that for them so they make a good business decision. But don't do it to scam them, you know? It's just ethically, I don't think it's right to lie to people. It's just never a good thing.
Well, it'll catch up eventually.
Yeah, it does.
It's not them lying to the people, though. It's the analytics lying. So really, you're not lying.
Yeah, it's true. You can make an argument for that line shifting.
Those are edges.
But that's why I always have liked KPI and revenue or traffic and revenue as KPIs, with revenue being the ultimate decision, because revenue being should always be the ultimate decision anyways. But if traffic is a supporting KPI, then there's a lot of ways to make those goals. Even if it's real traffic, you can give them, without a bot, you can give them real traffic that looks like it's search traffic that's not search traffic, but it still does a good job of doing what it needs to do for conversion.
It's funny, a lot of times, even when you're on the up and up, the client will lie to themselves. Yeah. It's like, what have you done for us? Have you looked at analytics? We did all that.
Yeah, dude, I love when they say
this is coming directly from search. Yeah, but that's people searching our brand. Literally 1% of this is your brand traffic. So shut the fuck up. So
why clients are not my favorite people?
No. That's essentially the thought process, is to help improve what is already working and help with buy-in writing within the first 3 months. For local, I mean, yeah, if you're following someone like Chris, it's doing a lot of that and doing a lot of traffic shit around different things. There's a lot of ways to enhance that, because you're looking at, like, if you're on a panel like Yex local or something and you're looking at views and interactions, that shit all is going to tie in and help the listing in the long term anyways, because you're building history. Go ahead.
No, that's my bad.
I mean, if you're getting history of fucking interaction and then you start to get real interaction that supports and grows from there, then you've sped up the ranking. You've done a lot there. Like, not only have you made it look good, but you actually have helped the future of the property.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, or like I said earlier, I guess, it always worries me, because what's going to happen when you pull that CTR?
Well, dude, no, and it's not even just that. Like, it could be legit. Like, I did stuff with the site that was tied into branded and commercial query, right? They, in the industry, literally threw out 6 months worth of data and decided we're not using this. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but watching everything and tracking everything with myself and competitors that were doing this, that there's a cohort of data of a group of people that were using and doing searches during that time period that they decided was not something they wanted to use for history. And they took that away, and it changed everything in the marketplace and all the ranking for many queries. So if you are in a spot that's small and you start really fucking playing around with those kind of stats, that it's not hard for them to toss the data out and not use it in the future. So Just be smart about when you start to play with volume and click through and shit like that, because they can use it or they can disregard it very easily.
Good advice. Good advice. We have 6 minutes left. Well, 5. So if you have any last minute questions, guys, put them in. Mike, Malta.
Yeah.
Have you sorted your shit out?
Yeah, I have. I'm going to be there. I fly out like the 12th and fly home like the 20th or 21st because I got to do some shit afterwards.
You're not taking a boat over there?
Yeah.
I want to ride the Titanic.
Steph's coming, but I do have to send my passport again. Something's up, so I'll send that over again and then go find
Joe's not going to let you out of the country.
No, he's not.
He said we need to keep an
No
asset.
fly, baby. No fly.
Yeah.
No fly.
I was hoping to get the flight through Paris and switch. There was like a flight with third there, just because my wife wants to go. But nah, we're gonna go straight through Germany.
Fuck that. France.
You need a schnitzel.
Dude, just have a day off in France. Go see that Eiffel Tower and all that shit.
That's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
It's
a morning time you get in, and then you're there for 13 hours with a change of airport. So it's perfect because you got to go through town.
Any blog or Twitter thread that regurgitate the same thing.
It'd be better if we didn't just make it up.
Yeah.
We're just better at selling ourselves.
Yeah.
Literally.
I sell myself quite a bit.
Yeah.
Dude, we were sick. My kids literally were home for 2 weeks, man. Like my son, again on Friday or Thursday, started throwing up everywhere. And like for the last 4 days, I had this freaking stuff, dude.
Mine had a 4-day fucking weekend coming up.
You know what's funny is my daughter and I have been getting sick every time we drink water out here, dude, now.
Buy Evian.
No shit.
Dasani. You got any courses, Craig?
Yeah, do you have anything for that?
Affiliate's not my game.
I have a mastermind, but it's not strictly.
Do you have a case study going through that right now? I mean, you talked about starting one.
We're all doing a site in a specific niche. I was going to do a casino case study, but
are you doing the chat like I talked about, or just doing the calls?
Just doing the calls.
Dude, look at the chat, bro, in the US. It's good shit.
But no. You mean in that niche? Yeah, no, the chats.
You are.
Yeah.
I thought that's the one you were talking about.
No, I thought you were talking about in my mastermind. I'm like, nah, it's just fucking Zoom calls.
No. I thought you meant for the case study in the market or whatever.
No, we do a lot of online chat. So yeah,
it's big, dude. That's why people were buying people there, dude. It's kind of funny, man.
It's madness, but Garrett, I've got a mastermind which touches on a lot of affiliate stuff. I don't have anything specifically for it.
I would maybe stay away from just something specifically for affiliate site up and running, and maybe just focus on how to get a website up and how to do research for the market that you want to target. And then just do fucking clickbait, dude. And throw up some clickbait links. Like seriously, it's an easy way in. There's not an approval process, and you can make money.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything. The only Twitter drama I've seen lately is with Elon. But
I just like how Josh, dude, he's been working on it. Like he's been working on AI, and he talks to his bot on his Twitter, dude. Like he has conversations with the AI on Twitter. That's pretty rad, dude. When it can have sex, that's when I'll talk to it.
But nah, Twitter drama.
I don't want to talk to it.
Are you guys even on Twitter?
No, dude. I've got an account that I bought it at one point that has a bunch of followers.
I don't spend a huge amount
of time. It's crazy what they can show on Twitter sometimes.
It kicks me off.
Yeah.
Dirk, hopefully see you there. I find the complaints. Listen, SEO Twitter is mad, crazy.
Just anything when you get these fucking SEO people together and they're, I know everything. It gets on my fucking nerves. Like the Facebook groups, the Twitter, or like social media. I'm like, do you have nothing better to fucking do? I'd rather fucking take a nap. than fucking,
I always find it amazing when I go back and talk to someone in SEO and like I say this is what I think is going on and they have the same opinion. I'm like, well, it's good. Maybe I'm finding these right or whatever, but I just can't. I think there's too much noise, dude, and I think it's detrimental.
It's those fucking keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to fight and shit. Like, who the fuck wants to fight?
I don't give a fuck. Like, about, like,
I think it's dangerous for newer people too, though, man. Like to see like a random post someone posted a ton of new growth for a fucking website that they spam the shit out of and say this is what I'm doing, blah blah blah. Yeah. Oh, it's a blah blah blah, and then you see everyone in that group do the same thing, and then 4 months later, everyone's bitching about how they lost everything.
It's just a fucking time suck. All of that shit, like all of it, just just sitting down and reading it, not even commenting on it, is a fucking time suck. And like there is much better shit to do with your time.
You could paint, dude.
You could paint. You could fucking go for a walk or something. Like,
you know what? People find walks. I think people are like underrating walks, bro.
I hate walking.
Good for you,
but I'd rather go on a run.
Well, yeah, and just getting outside and clearing your fucking.
It is. Yeah, I read a book, and that was like one of his primary things was get outside. Yeah.
So I think it was Seneca has a really good quote. I can't remember it. I'll paraphrase it, but it's basically when you're confused, get your ass up and go outside and take a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
I just go to the bag. I pretend like it's Craig.
I just follow Craig, dude.
Don't follow me, man.
I follow you off the bridge when my stepdad goes, if your friends jump off the bridge, would you jump off? Fuck yeah. If Craig jumped
fucking first, dickhead. Yeah.
I jumped off a pier naked and broke my tailbone.
It's better than the alternative.
When I was 19.
Would you jump butt first?
No, I jumped off, climbed back up, and when I tried to put my clothes on, I fell over and broke my tailbone, dude.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was freaking.
I broke your tailbone too. Different reason. You're naked though, so
I was naked. I had to do it for the girls.
Yeah, boys. That's all I really want is boys. I mean, girls.
Craig's trying to.
He's trying to end the shit. Okay, hit the. Craig's like the bird's back in, and then the show shuts off.
Check out niche website builders, guys.
I was going to ask what you talked about, but we'll remember next week.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get anything good out of them yet?
Is their API ready?
No.
I don't know. They're building an API.
No.
They're API ready.
We are away. So you can watch the recording, guys, for Niche Website Builders or any other recording for that matter. And we'll catch you at the same time.
Don't watch any of these.
The best way is to just take the transcript, download it from YouTube, and throw it into an Ngram analyzer and then scan it. And then you know what happened. You don't have to watch it.
I just posted on my blog spot.
Yeah. Claim it as yours. Write an ebook.
Mm-hmm. I've got 2.5 years of this bullshit. They're like, what the fuck is this? Later.